Welcome to Policy and Profit, the podcast for ambitious insurance agents and agency owners who want to build predictable, profitable businesses without chasing bad leads or begging for referrals. And did you know the average insurance agent makes about $52,000 a year and over 90% give up in their first year? The top 1% doing anything with their license of note are making 5 to 10 times as much selling the exact same policies, earning between $150,000 and $500,000 a year. And it's not luck, it's leverage. The secret is they are following a system to generate fresh hot leads, book appointments, and close policies like clockwork. So I've put together a no-cost blueprint for that system that shows you how to add $5,000 to $15,000 in additional monthly income in under 90 days that you can access for free. Just go to writemorepolicies.com/blueprint or click the link in the description. Today's guest is Matthew Murray. He's been in the insurance business for a decade, focusing mostly on the senior market, but advancing his career now to serve the younger generation. So Matthew, welcome to the show. Tell me something you believe is the key to succeeding in insurance sales that most agents completely overlook.
I think that they overcomplicate the products, and they believe that people can't afford what they are pitching. And so they pitch with their own pocketbook and not somebody else's.
Oh no. Oh no. Do you think that's the driver of all that commission breath? Like, oh, I need to sell.
It's definitely, it's definitely easier to make a sale when you don't need it as much. When you really need something, when your mortgage, is on the line, I can definitely see it being a little bit different. But I'd say that when you're coming from a place of I'm trying to get something to you and not take something from you, that's when that commission breath goes away.
That's really good. And you just mentioned that most agents overcomplicate the products. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm mostly in the senior market, and so final expense is my go-to, final expense in Medicare. And it was really simple to me when it was first explained to me. We work with impoverished people, which means made poor.
Yep.
Um, and they just wanted to cover the cost of a burial or a cremation. That's it. And if they can answer no to these 9 health questions and they're not lying, they can get day one coverage and you're going to get them as much coverage as they can for the premium that they can afford. And you have to figure out what that premium is and how you go about that. There's some tips and tricks that I could, explain to kind of find what that premium is. But once you find out what that premium is, and you know that they can afford it, it's really just how much coverage can I get you? And that's it. You don't need to know the ins and outs and accelerated benefits and child riders and all these different things on a final expense policy. This is to cover the cost of burial, and that's about it. You know, I'm not doing advanced whole life planning or advanced term life planning, kind of like I'm now learning about more that I've, understood the senior market. I'm kind of like getting into these other products, and they're definitely different. You got to know a lot more. But even those, you really don't have to overcomplicate it, because if you overcomplicate it, it's going to sound even worse to the person that doesn't have their license. And so just by you having your license, you know significantly more than the person that doesn't have theirs.
I like that. I remember, I'm not sure how much marketing guru stuff you consume. So I remember Dan Kennedy say, uh, think of your average prospect and what you think they know, and just dumb them down. They know about 10% of that. So you gotta, I thought that was hilarious when I first thought of that because we naturally just overcomplicate things. And like you said, they just wanted the funeral paid for. They don't know anything about any of this other stuff. It's a great upsell on the back end, bump order, whatever you want to call it, but solve their initial problem. Matthew's exactly spot on. Now, that's fantastic. Matthew, I know you're really passionate about why field work is more important today, now than ever, and how the consumer mindset has really shifted. So, can you talk to us and the other agents watching us about that?
Sure. Um, and I could be an idiot. I could be entirely wrong, but we went through something in 2020 that we all know about, right? That kind of got us to stay more home and be more be on the phone, right? In the insurance space. I'd say pre 2020, probably looking at about maybe 15% of people that were on the phone. And now you're probably looking at 70 to maybe 80%, maybe even 90% are on the phone. And a couple things about that. One, because of that, so many people are utilizing things like CRMs, text messages, ringless voicemails, dialer systems. And so that means everybody's doing the same thing. And so the consumer is receiving hundreds, thousands, I mean, millions of phone calls per day for something that they filled out maybe in 2019, 2020, and their data has been sold a ridiculous amount of times. And now these people, you can't even really track where these leads came from at this point. There's
Nope.
no, everybody's filled out at least one form in their life, and it's probably been resold. And so the consumer mindset has changed from I don't want to I only want to talk to people on the phone to I'm so tired of these phone calls and these text messages about insurance, about whatever this thing that you're trying to sell me is. I don't want to pick it up. And we're consumed with TikTok, um, Facebook, Instagram, things that are constantly moving on the screen that when a phone call comes up, we get annoyed, right? And then we get the double and the triple dial because that's what everybody's been told to do. And we just eventually say stop and we don't want this anymore. Well, that means that the consumer is non-trusting of the phone. And now that
Yep.
we're going into the world of AI calling, right?
Oh no.
It's even more odd, right? And people don't trust people. Like now we got to trust that this computer is kind of talking to us and tell us the right thing. And again, from a senior, they already get scammed a lot. And so when we're getting to the things that are, automated systems that are AI calling, it's going to create this really weird adverse effect. So I'm starting to see the pendulum swing to where the consumers, they just want a human to talk to, a real person. And they want somebody to explain it to them in a way that is simple to understand. And maybe it's writing it down and showing it on a graph and pictures, right? But so many agents are just saying, man, if this person doesn't pick up the phone or they're not going through my automated, booking program, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna talk to those people. Well, those are God's people, and these people need to be served. There's people that will never answer the phone that maybe don't even have a good working phone, but they still need to be served, and their funeral still to be taken care of. And so I just kind of I've seen the pendulum swing a little bit, and I'm starting to see it more from the consumer mindset. But I also think from the agent mindset that we're getting into a world where the phone, they just sit there. You log on and you're just like kind of like waiting for the phone to pick up. And then when someone does pick up, you're like, hey, I'm calling you about blah blah blah. And by the time you get through the half the script that you were given by your upline, the person's mad at a midget with a yo-yo, and they hang up on you. What does that do for the agent psyche? They want to quit.
Yep. It's the 2020 stuff you mentioned, it's funny, but it unfortunately, let me know what you think about this. It's like we've never been more connected on these things, yet we as humans have never felt more alone. We don't
Mhm.
trust anybody. It's that whole trust recession stuff. And that's what agents don't seem to consider. It's just, well, if I did 300 dials and no one picked up, let's do 600. Let's call them even more. Let's piss them off even more. And now, unfortunately, like no one considers trade-offs or economics, so, which is really what we're competing on, trade-offs. Do you think the customer would rather watch a Netflix show or scroll TikTok or talk to you about insurance? Of course, it's a no-brainer for them. Hang up, click reply stop, automatically, knee-jerk reaction. They don't trust anyone. They've been taken advantage of too many times.
I said it, not a billion, probably a million times at this point, but I've said it a lot. The only people that want to talk about insurance are insurance agents. Nobody else wants to talk about insurance. I promise you. You're the only person in your family, if you're the only insurance agent, that wants to sit down and have a conversation about insurance. I promise you, no one's waking up in the morning and going, man, I'm excited about talking about life insurance today, or about health insurance, or about critical illness, or about hospital indemnity plans. Give me the information that I need to know and get me the hell out of this conversation.
Yeah, it's funny. I There was an agent who met me at the gym, brand new, got sold by some TikTok talking about how much you can make with insurance. He realized I used to I've sold a lot of it. He paid me for some coaching stuff. He had done like 46 appointments in a matter of 2 weeks, didn't sell a single policy. I said, what are you saying on these, dude? I'm talking to him about insurance. Well, stop calling it insurance and watch how much more favorable the communication gets. And he just had his first $22,000 month simply from a word shift.
Hmm.
It's nuts. That's something you guys can take away right now. Don't call it peace of mind, protect, sleight of mouth the hell out of it. Edward Bernays took the word propaganda after it had been demonized, and now it's called public relations. And so
Hmm.
it's how you have to approach the masses. What Matthew talked about on here is absolutely genius because if you do what everyone else is doing, you can expect what everyone else is getting, which is a whole lot of nothing in this industry, unfortunately.
Hmm.
So this has been really valuable for the agents and agency owners like listening who want to learn more about what you do. Tell us who's a good fit to work with you. I've saw you talk about your marketing stuff and agency stuff on Facebook, so I have followed you for a little bit. How can they get in touch with you, and who's a good fit to work with you, Matthew?
I'm pretty easy to find on Facebook, so it's just Matthew Murray. They can go to murraymarketing.net if they want to go to one of those things and learn a little bit more about me or things that I have done. I really don't like talking about myself or some of
Well,
accomplishments,
I'll talk about you. So,
you know. I was just talking to my team. I'm like, I just really don't like selling myself. I just kind of like doing work and just seeing what happens. But I'm a field first organization. So, and right now I'm in the senior market still. That's just what I know. So, if you want to learn how to run direct mail leads, I've got a direct mail lead that returns at a little over 3% right now. Which means like right now in Wilmington, where I'm at, Murrayville, it's like 3.3%, which means it's costing me $20 for a fresh direct mail lead. Kind of unheard of in the marketplace, and it just gives the agents more at bats than ever. And the sit down
correct.
ratio is higher. The persistency is better. Everything about that is better. So if you're a field person and you want to learn final expense at a high level, or you want to learn Medicare at a high level, that's what we do. That's the thing that we focus on. And then I have this really cool product that I picked up very recently. Speaking about these, different types of insurance that are simplified. This one's maybe not as simple, but I broke it down pretty easy. It's a term product that at the end of the term, you have a paid up whole life policy,
Okay.
and it builds cash value the entire time. So to me, that's gangster because if I'm talking to a 35 to 60-year-old, right, that's in relatively good health, pretty good health, so to speak, how do you know which one to get them? Which one do you sell them? Right? And there's the big debate, which one's better, term or whole? And I've always kind of been that guy in the middle, like, why not both? Right?
Why don't you make them pick? Yeah, give them both.
Or the pick, right? But again, from the consumer mindset, they just want to know which one's better for me. And you as the agent's got to choose, right? Well, if you get them a term policy at the age of 45, get a 20-year term, now that person's 65, they're going into retirement, they want to save a little bit of cash. Well, now their term's ended. Maybe they don't have any more premiums, but they don't have any more insurance. And now they're trying to get a final expense policy, a whole life policy, because it's better for them. And it's going to cost way more for way less thing. So with this one, you can guy this term, and at the end of that term, you have an amount that you choose. And so you can choose as little as $10,000 in whole life or like $500,000. Obviously, your premium's going to change.
Yeah.
But to someone who's a little bit more established, that 40, 50-year-old, 55-year-old, maybe with a couple houses, and they're saying, yeah, I can handle a $500 a month premium or $300 a month premium. Well, that person can get $500,000 and then have $300,000 in paid up insurance when they retire. And it's guaranteed. It's a nuts product, so it's really good for mortgage protection agents. Overall, I think it's just a really cool product. So, like I said, I'm learning this shit in real time, and I'm making some ads around it so far. It's been pretty fun. I delve in the digital marketing space pretty heavily
It-
on this Facebook stuff, and
It's fun.
yeah, it's been fun, man.
All right, well, fantastic. We're going to wrap up here. So thank you so much, Matthew, for sharing your insights on field work, why it's so important, the consumer mindset shift, and how that pendulum's kind of changed. For those of you interested in learning more about Matthew Murray, you can go message him on Facebook. His link will be down below in the description. You can go to, since Matthew doesn't want to sell himself, I'll sell himself. So go to murraymarketing.net. Is that what you said it was?
Yep.
Go to murraymarketing.net. If you are looking to transition from telesales to get more at bats and become a field agent, or you're already an established field agent, reach out to Matthew. If you want the hybrid product, you can go get, I'm assuming, a contract underneath you if you want to offer
hmm
that to your customers to give them more flexibility around a product, more protection, and more impact for them and their family. So you guys go reach out to him, go to murraymarketing.net. And if you would like to be a guest on Policy and Profit, we're always looking for successful insurance agents and agency owners who are doing at least $10,000 a month in commissions and have unique strategies to share. So you can apply at the link below in the description. One more time, if you want to stop chasing leads and start booking qualified appointments with people who actually want to buy insurance, go grab our free booked and banked blueprint at writemorepolicies.com/blueprint. Until next time, keep that commission machine building.